Hi, Stitchers. Welcome to Tatreez Talk, where we share conversations about Palestinian embroidery. I'm Amani here with my co-host Lena, chatting with talented embroiderers and artists, sharing their stories, inspirations, and the cultural significance behind their work.
On today's episode, we are chatting with Leila, a Tatreez artist and recent graduate of interior design and also a fellow Tatreezer from the Tatreez retreat. Welcome to Tatreez Talk, Leila.
Hi guys, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for being here. We're glad to catch up again. The last time the first time we met and the last time we all hung out was in Yosemite for the Tatreez retreat. And it was such a great time. And I'm glad we can have you to share your story with us.
Thank you.
So let's start by sharing with the audience your family's connection to Palestine.
Yeah, so all four of my grandparents were born in Palestine. My mom's mom was born in Nablus, but my mom's dad was actually born in Haifa. And during 1948, they had to flee and they came to Nablus because they are originally from Nablus, but they were living in Haifa at the time. Um, And my dad's side actually were from Jerusalem and they didn't flee, like they just stayed in Jerusalem at the time. Um, yeah, and eventually, all four of my grandparents ended up leaving Palestine. Um, so yeah, all of us were born outside of Palestine. My mom was born in Saudi, my dad was born in Lebanon, I was born in Jordan. So yeah, unfortunately, like we did get displaced. I do have some cousins though that were born there, which was actually like an intentional choice by their father. So that's really beautiful, and I really like that he was intentional with it, and he wanted his kids to be born in Palestine, and that was important to him. Um, but yeah, unfortunately, we were all displaced, and now I have family everywhere in the world. I have family in the Netherlands, I have family in the UK, Saudi, Jordan, like everywhere.
The story of a Palestinian.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're now based in Canada, right?
Yeah, and I'm in Canada.
Have you been in Canada a long time or did you spend some time in Jordan after you were
I have been
born?
here for 11 years. I grew up in Jordan and then we moved to Kuwait and then we came to Canada. So I've been around a little bit. Um, but you honestly, like, even though I did live in Kuwait, we spent all of our summers in Jordan. Like, I resonate more with Jordan, even though I was there when I was even younger. Um, it also just feels closer to home. Like, it feels more, I know it's not Palestine, it will never be Palestine, but it just kind of makes me feel like I'm more with my people than when I was in Kuwait or in Canada.
Yeah. Have you been able to make it to Palestine at all?
I've actually been there twice. I'm very grateful. The first time I went, we actually toured, like we went everywhere. I actually did get to go to Haifa, which I'm so, so grateful that I can say that. Um, and the second time we went, we just kind of stayed more in Nablus. I got to actually see Nablus properly, which my mom wasn't born there, but they went every single summer to Nablus. So she has a lot of childhood memories there and just a very strong connection. So that was really nice for me to actually experience Nablus. And I was, I think, 17. So yeah, I do really need to go back again. But you still remember things when you were 17. So I'm really grateful that I actually remember Palestine.
Yeah. I'm curious, since you spent a chunk of your life in diaspora in the Arab world and then a chunk of your life in diaspora in the West,
Mhm.
how would you say how would you say it's kind of like shifted or made you look at your Palestinian identity, the differences?
Honestly, this is a little embarrassing. But when I lived in Kuwait, I thought I was Jordanian because I am
Mm.
Jordanian technically. But like we had this whole like culture day and I drew the Jordanian flag and then we went on stage and then my mom was like, "What?" And then she taught me and she was like, "Hey, like you're Palestinian, this is our flag, all this stuff." Um, so I definitely feel like in Canada, I was more aware of being
Mm.
Palestinian and more aware of wanting to share that and show that. Whereas in Kuwait and Jordan, I didn't really feel like I need to show anybody anything. Like, they all are aware of what's going on. They're all aware of what my country is. Like, I feel like here, this has happened to me in class too before, where I'm like, the teacher's asking us all where we're from, and I say Palestine. And she's like, oh, Pakistan. And I'm like,
Mm.
no, no, not Pakistan. So there's definitely a lot of ignorance in terms of like not really understanding the Middle East. Like if I tell somebody I'm from the Middle East, they don't really care to know which country. You know what I mean? So I definitely feel like here I have to make a bigger effort to show that I'm Palestinian. I have to make a bigger effort to be educated on my culture because I might need to educate people on my culture, you know? Whereas like in the Middle East, I didn't really feel that pressure because we're all like, yeah, we're like everyone knows what's going on. Everybody
Yeah.
knows who Arabs are and everything. So I feel like as much as I do want to live in the Middle East again and everything, I am really grateful because I feel like being here pushed me a little closer to my culture and made me more
Mm.
excited to practice my culture. And it kind of gave me this like individuality here. And yeah, I really do like that I can be Palestinian and be it proudly here, you know?
Yeah, that's really interesting to hear as well. And I think Tatreez is one of those ways to have those conversations about your Palestinian identity.
Mm.
Um, how did you learn Tatreez? Where did the journey begin for you?
So I've always been an artist. I've always been a crafter. Like I love working with my hands. I love anything like that. But nothing ever stuck. I always got really bored. I always got like just kind of, okay, I reached my limit with this art and I kind of stopped. And then randomly, like I went to this Tatreez workshop at the Toronto Palestinian Film Festival. And it was great. I had so much fun. I really, really enjoyed it. And at the time, my grandmother was visiting us here in Canada. So I go home to show her. I was so excited. And she was like, show me the back. I was like, okay. I show her the back and she's like, la la la. Like, you need to start over. I was like, okay, my grandmother is very like proper and classy and put together. Like she's a
Is
very
this
inspirational
the
woman.
Nabulsi
No,
Teta?
this is my
Okay.
Utsi grandmother. So she's like very, you know, things have to be done the right way. You know what I mean? So yeah, she ended up teaching me the right way, her right way. And yeah, she told me the back is really important. She taught me how to do like the over the Ida cloth method. I don't know what it's called
Mm.
exactly. Yeah, and then she started telling me, and I really got to know my grandmother more because if I didn't show her that, we wouldn't have had this conversation. But she started telling me about her own tatreez that she used to do growing up and um how like she had this table runner that she made her and her friends or family, I don't really remember. And when the IDF came and, you know, ambushed their home, they actually stole the tatreez specifically.
Mm.
So she that kind of really like changed the perspective for me because they're targeting our Tatreez specifically. So this has to be important, this has to be special. And I think that really stayed in my heart because it made me want to practice this even more. It made me want to always have like the needle and thread in my hand even more just to stay resisting. You know what I mean? So I really, really appreciated that conversation that I had with her. And I think it pushed me to really get passionate about Tatreez as well. And just the fact that my grandmother grew up doing it too is so cool and special. And my other grandmother grew up doing it too. But this grandmother actually liked doing it. My other grandmother didn't like it. So,
That's so cute.
yeah, I mean, and then I also noticed how my mom's generation don't know Tatreez
Yeah.
because they grew up in the diaspora. So
Hmm.
it's really interesting because I feel like it skipped a generation because a lot of girls my age can Tatreez. So I was kind of talking to my mom about that the other day, and it's just kind of I don't really know why, and I'm very interested in why that
Hmm.
happened, but I really love that it happened, and I love that like we have all decided as a community to just go back to Tatreez,
Hmm.
no matter where we are. And now I love that I'm seeing stuff online. People are making up new patterns, new modern patterns that are
Hmm.
still Palestinian, and it's just yeah, I love that we're keeping the art evolving. Like it didn't stop.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's interesting that you said that it skipped your mom's generation because same with my mom. My mom also grew up in diaspora and like she did not learn Tatreez.
Mm,
And I had this urge to do it. And I don't know, there's something about I think a lot our generation and the generations that are coming after that are really trying to like I feel like go back to traditions, but also make them our own, as you're saying, like
mhm,
you're seeing new patterns, you're seeing new designs that are still very Palestinian, obviously. So it's just great to continue to see all of that stuff.
mhm,
As you have gotten into your Tatriz practice, how has that like how has that shifted your connection to Palestine and your Palestinian
mhm.
identity?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Um, I think I think at some point I was a little insecure when we moved to Canada about my Arabness. Like, I know it sounds a little like silly, but I know almost everyone goes through this, not just Arabs, like everyone from all over the world goes through this. Just kind of feeling like, who am I? Like, am I Arab enough? Am I
Mhm.
whatever race I am enough, you know? And at some point I was actually pretty insecure about it. My Arabic was weak and I have practice and it's better now. But I think Tatreez kind of boosted my confidence a lot with my identity and made me feel like I don't have to be perfect. Like, I don't have to have grown up in Palestine. I don't have to speak Arabic like 100% with a perfect accent, perfect grammar, all this stuff. I I am Palestinian. Whether I do Tatreez or not, I am Palestinian enough. But I am practicing my culture every day. You know what I mean? Like, I'm centering my people every day as well. So I feel like with the fact that this art can kind of bring me there when I'm sitting in my living room and I'm Tatreezing, I can be in Palestine as well, you know what I mean? So it's just very, yeah, it's very special and I really hold this art so close to my heart, honestly. So I think it's really helped me with my Arab identity and it's helped me feel just so much more in touch with who I am inside. And I feel like, let's say tomorrow I decide I don't want to ever Tatreez again. Because of this journey that I was on, I will always feel like I'm enough Palestinian wise. You know what I mean?
That resonates so much, and it's so powerful to see how Tatreez can really just help ground us and make us feel part of
Mm,
the whole of Palestine as well. Like that obviously resonates with me very, very
yeah.
strongly. I'm curious about how has Tatreez changed the way that you interact with other people, and maybe it's both Palestinians and non-Palestinians. I'd be curious to hear.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Actually, I don't have too many Palestinians around me, which is kind of weird because the area I live in is pretty Arab, but I don't have too many Palestinians around me. And I always find myself like with groups of people that aren't Arab at all. And I'm like, hey, do you guys want to learn Tatreez? And I just whip out my Tatreez kit and I bring it to the function and I teach all of my friends and everything. Obviously, I give them like, the rundown, the history. I tell them this is pretty sacred to us and, it shouldn't be appropriated and please respect it. Like I give everybody that speech. But I think it's so special because now it's bringing people together that are not even Palestinian or have even never heard of Tatreez. And we're all sitting there and I have my Tatreez books and they're flipping through and they're like, this one's so cute. And like, we're all just stitching together. And I found Tatreez, like everyone loves Tatreez, whether they're Palestinian or not. And I find that so crazy. But yeah, so definitely I have connected with my non-Palestinian friends through Tatreez, and I feel like they feel closer to me by doing this. I even have a lot of friends who are obviously all my friends are pro-Palestinian, but like I have a lot of friends who feel like they just want to do like they just want to be part of it, they want to help, they want to do whatever they can. And I feel like Tatreez, yes, it doesn't feed the people starving right now in Gaza, but it's humanizing us as people. It's making us seem not seem, but like it's showing people that we are people. Like it's showing the world that we have a culture. It's showing the
Mhm.
world that we have a lot of history, and it's showing the world that we are way more than the news. And as much as I do want everyone to be focused on the news and I want everybody to be aware of everything that's happening, I want them to be aware of all the war crimes and everything. Like I need everyone to understand what's going on politically, but I also want them to see us as people and as human beings who have a culture and have love and emotions and art and colors and like all these beautiful things. So when my friends get to sit with me in Tatreez, I feel like they're kind of connecting to me as a Palestinian and not just like connecting to me as a Palestinian when they say, oh, free Palestine. Like that is a cool connection. But it's also cool to have the connection of like, I see your people, I see your culture, I see that you are human too, you know? And you think of all these countries and you think of their cultures and you're like, yeah, Jamaica is such a beautiful culture, you know? And then when you think of Palestine, you're like, oh, Palestine. Like I feel for them, you know? So
Mhm.
I do want both, and I don't think that's such a far reach. I think I want people to have empathy for us, but I also want them to be like, Palestine is such a beautiful place with beautiful people, hospitable, and all this art. I think that's really important, and I think one of my um it's kind of my main factor with everything I do when it comes to
Mhm.
Tatreez. That's why I teach my friends. That's why I have workshops. Even the markets that I do, I actually have never done a market for an Arab event. I've only
Mhm.
done markets for non-Arab events, and I have two upcoming markets. They're also not for Arab events, um, only for the purpose of teaching people. Like I'm not really in this to make money. I'm actually only in this to teach people our culture and to have like a fun way to connect and show people. Like I feel like the average Canadian doesn't meet a Palestinian who's telling them, oh, these are the dresses we used to wear and still wear, actually. These are the motifs we use because this is the coffee bean motif and it comes from this specific region because there's a lot of coffee beans in that region. You know what I mean? So, like, the average Canadian is not hearing that. They're just hearing they're getting bombed, they're starved, all this stuff. And yes, that's true. And I'm really glad they're hearing that. I'm really glad they're aware of that. But I also need people to be educated on who we are as individuals, who we are as like artists and singers and like all of our art is so beautiful and none of it is being showcased, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I think my passion is Tatreez, but my bigger passion is spreading Palestinian culture and teaching people Palestinian culture.
I think it's very important. Culture is very, very important, and it's a part of what the occupation is trying to erase. In addition to physically trying to erase Palestinians, they're also trying to erase our history and our culture. And I definitely agree, like cultural preservation is an important part of preserving Palestinian identity as a whole. Um,
Mhm.
Based on whether it's like kind of the classes that you're or not the classes, I guess the lessons that you're teaching your friends or the workshops that you teach or even these markets that you're doing. um have there been any conversations that you've had with non-Palestinians that you've been able to have because of Tetris that have really stuck with you?
Introducing the drop that nobody asked for, Resolute RGL, the sneaker that takes centuries of Palestinian resistance and sells it back to you in leather. Co-founder Yossi Levin calls it empowerment. We call it exploitation. Same guy who once erased Palestinians from his projects in Haifa, now stitching Tatreez into a shoe to build his quote-unquote multi-million-dollar brand. They say it's bridging local and global. Translation: Palestinian women stitch, Europe profits, Israel wins. Limited edition, unlimited hypocrisy. Don't buy the hype, boycott Resolute RGL. This anti-ad was produced by Tatreez Talk. We stitch, we talk, we boycott.
Yeah, a lot. Like when I did the one of a kind, I'm not sure if anyone listening will know the one of a kind, but it's this really big market in Toronto. And it's I don't know if they've ever had a Palestinian vendor. There was only one other Arab vendor, and guys, there's like thousands of vendors at this place. I don't know if it's thousands, but there's a lot. Like it's huge. It's so, so, so big. Some people do 2 days just to see all the shops. So there was only one other Arab there. and it's a very predominantly white space in Toronto. And there were so many conversations at that event, and there was some racism, I'm not gonna lie. Like I was definitely discriminated against. I definitely had to like leave for a second, cry it out, and come back. But it was honestly such a life-changing market because I got to like I saw white people crying over Palestine at my booth. And I've never experienced that before. Like I just felt love and I felt empathy and I felt a lot of solidarity at my booth. People were genuinely interested. Like I had a picture of a woman with a thobe, and I used that as a reference to explain to people because everyone who came to my booth, I explained to them what Tatreez is and the history and just like a brief. Um, and there were so many people that were just interested. Like they would stay at my booth for 5, 10, 15 minutes just hearing me talk about it. And that was really special. Even if they didn't buy anything, like they learned so much from me. There was this one woman who came up to me and she was like, actually, I wasn't at the booth at the time. She actually told my brother, and she told him how I actually got posted on a Jewish forum with my booth number and everything. And basically, people were getting told to come harass me at my booth. But she came up to me and she was like, I'm Jewish, I'm on this forum, but I called them out and I said that's not okay and you shouldn't be harassing her. She's just showing her art. Her booth is not political. The only thing I had up, like I had keffiyeh guitar straps. I don't I don't personally believe the keffiyeh is political. It is our cultural scarf. The fact that we are Palestinian and this is our Palestinian scarf makes it political. That doesn't mean it's political. So
And
it does
also,
have,
even if it was, who cares?
who cares? It's my booth. I can do whatever I want with it. But I had a lot of debates with some Zionists talking to me about how my keffiyeh is political at my booth. Like they came up and they're like, "This is a political booth. Take down the keffiyeh. I don't feel safe." All this stuff. But this woman specifically, she came up to me and she was like, I saw you posted on the forum. I called them out. I hope nobody's approaching you to harass you." And we had a whole talk. Like she told me all about her life, and she did live in Israel for some time, and then she told me how she she just like had this click when she was there and she realized that they're in the wrong and they're not, you know, I don't want to like say too much about her life because it's not my story to tell, but she basically realized that she needs to leave Israel and she cannot associate herself with this anymore. And she came here and she started protesting here and like she's very down with the Palestinian movement. But she's still Jewish and she's in the Jewish community, so she was on the Jewish group chats and she saw that. So it's very interesting to hear. Like, I definitely had a lot of deep and serious conversations at my booth. Um, but that one stood out to me.
Yeah, that's a really, and it's also difficult to have that kind of conversation when you're there to share the culture. Sometimes it's it's always the burden is on the victim, or the people who are being attacked. It's always like your job to
Mhm.
make sure everyone feels comfortable and that it's not deemed political, even though it's complete BS. Um, but I'm glad you were able to have some positive conversations and kind of hold your
Mhm.
own and feel okay and as safe as possible because that's what they do. They're trying to intimidate you
I
and
know.
make you want to leave or stop or so I'm glad you stayed and showed up in these spaces because honestly like those are the types of markets that we should be more in. Like
Yeah.
that's where we need to be more present if kind of the goal is to help educate, help showcase Tatreez to a different audience and help like participate in this fight for liberation. And I think that's where a lot of us maybe get it wrong is we stick to ourselves, which is good and important, and we need those spaces 100%.
Mhm.
But I think we need more of what you're doing as well, which is it takes some courage to show up to those
Thank you.
places and be the only one there. And then
Yeah,
you're
I
the one who's
actually,
responsible for teaching about
I know,
Palestine.
literally, it's like, why am I carrying this in Toronto right now? But
Yeah.
I actually met one of my now best friends at this market. She was the only other Arab
Mm.
there. She's Lebanese. And she was experiencing the same amount of racism. She had Arabic writing on her booth. Um, and so, like, we would just get these weird racist encounters daily. And I would go up to her and be like, "Was anyone weird to you today?" And she was like, "Yeah." And she would tell me stories. And then I would say, "This was an 11-day market, guys." Like, we were being,
Wow.
yeah. So it was a little intense, but I'm so glad I did it. and we spoke to the organizers and we told them our experiences, and they actually showed up for us. Like they put up signs saying we do not tolerate, like near me and her, signs saying we do not tolerate anything and we will kick you off, basically. That's just a summary. They had a security guard stay by me and her. Me and her were very close to each other, so they kept someone near us the whole time. They kept checking on us like almost every day, saying, did anyone do anything? Like, please report them immediately and we will come get them. Like the organizers really understood and were very, like, I did not expect them to react that way, and I'm very appreciative that they did. And I will always support the one of a kind, like as someone buying from there, because I saw the way that they treated me and my friend
Mm.
Joey. Um, so yeah, that was something I didn't expect that I was so grateful for.
That's beautiful. I mean, that's their responsibility too. I think we forget, like, this is their responsibilities to make all the vendors feel safe. So I'm
Hmm.
glad they showed up and did their job,
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't have that as well.
Mm.
Um, so what are you working on these days when it comes to Tatreez? Whether it's like, do you have any upcoming events or
Yeah.
workshops or things?
I have
Yeah.
two markets coming up. This actually, that market was my only market that I've ever done, so this is my second market. It's much smaller though. I don't know if you guys have heard of Kensington Market. It's in Toronto as well. Um, so I'll be there hopefully in a couple weeks. I'm trying to like prepare as much as I can, but you never really know, and that's kind of the stressful part. And then I have another market for a university nearby as well, a York University, which is actually a very Zionist school. Like it's known for that. So I'm excited to see what's gonna happen. Um, but yeah, no, I'm definitely like always down to insert myself in places that we've never been. Like I actually live for it.
I love
Um,
that. I support that.
yeah. Like, yeah. I'm also just kind of, I do want to start a film, and I don't know, like I kind of want to start this winter. So
Oh,
that's kind of like what I have brewing in my head, but I need to design it and figure it out. But that's kind of the main thing I want to start after the summer markets are over and everything. I want to start my film. Um, but yeah, and then I've also like spoken to a few people in the area about doing Tatreez circles, because I also host Tatreez circles, and my biggest thing with Tatreez circles is like they need to be free. At least like
mm-hmm.
mine need to be free. So that's kind of hard when, if you want to do it at a restaurant, you're gonna have to pay or something. So I usually do it at parks, but I actually found a Palestinian business owner willing to let me do it at his restaurant for free. So that's amazing. So hopefully there'll be a lot more Tatreez circles from me. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, question about the thobe. I know you still have to design it, but do you have any initial thoughts on anything that you want, whether it's color or style or
A good
anything?
question. I don't know. I want it to be heavy. Like I want it to be
Mm.
packed for sure. I want it to take me many years.
Okay.
Um, but I don't know what colors or design. I have no idea. Like I every time I think about it, I'm like, no, no, I can't think about this. Like it stresses me out.
We'll get
So I
there.
actually, yeah, we'll get there. I do have the fabric though. Like that's ready.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't randomly somebody gave me like a whole thing of linen, and I was like, okay, sick. So I'm gonna
Oh,
use this.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We'll have to keep us posted on everything and how it turns
Yeah,
out.
because the
Um,
problem is like Nablus and Al-Quds don't really have too many motifs for me to use. So
yeah.
my cousins live in Ramallah and they grew up there, so maybe I'll use inspiration from like, oh yeah, my cousins live there, so I have my thought from there. I don't know yet.
You could tell your own story,
Exactly.
make your own way.
Hmm.
Love it. Okay, so we always ask people, are there any major life lessons that you have gained from
Hmm.
Tatreez?
So honestly, I think the major life lesson is patience. Um, everybody in this day and age, like I don't think I'm alone in this, has anxiety. Like it is a stressful world right now. Um, and I think for me, like it got to a point where like I just couldn't sit still and everything stressed me out, and there was no serenity inside, you know what I mean? So ever since I started Tatreez, like I have really realized that I have chilled out. Like I don't take life as seriously anymore. not everything needs to be perfect because I always mess up my Tatreez and I leave it. You know what I mean? So, like, I think I've definitely learned how to not be a perfectionist. I've learned how to take life slower. I've learned how to be flexible with things. Um, Not everything has to be finished in a day. Not everything has to be perfect. Not everything has to be like exactly how I imagined it. Like sometimes I finish a project and I'm like, it's not exactly what I had in mind, but it's still cute. It's still nice. So yeah, it's really taught me just kind of like how to calm down a little bit.
I love that. I love that. And I mean, as we're witnessing genocide and everything happening back home, it's necessary to help us, stay
Yeah, we
grounded
need
and
to have ways to regulate.
yeah, regulate.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, Leila, it
Mm.
was such a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Where can everyone find you and remind everyone again where you are in Canada as well for those who are interested in your workshops or Taltree circles?
Yeah, so I'm in the GTA. I do things around Oakville, Mississauga. Not so much Toronto, but like I'm down if anyone wants to. And my Instagram is Leila's dot gallery. Um, yeah, thank you so much guys for having me. I really, really enjoyed being here.
Thank you for
Such a
being here.
pleasure.
And yeah, thank you for sharing your story. And we're excited to see the Thob journey come
Oh
together.
my God. Yeah,
Yes.
I'll definitely
Now you
post about it.
now you said it, so people are gonna expect it.
I know, I know. It's actually like I needed this. I need to be accountable.
This is your accountability.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Leila, we'll talk to
Okay.
you soon. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, guys. Have a
Thanks.
good one.
It was so good to catch up with Layla again. We like have not seen I mean we literally saw her once and haven't seen her since. So it was good
Well, once
to
for a
catch
week.
up.
It was a deep
Once for a
once.
week. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true. I don't want to minimize that. But yeah. So it was good to catch up and I was telling her I was like I really want to come to Toronto. I've never been. I've heard good things about it. So maybe I need to get out there and visit our Canadian friends.
Yeah, yeah, we have so many now. There's
I
so many
know.
Canadian Tatreezers. I love it. Yeah, I see them online as well. They're doing a lot of workshops, Tatreez circles. So if you're listening and you're based in Canada, let us know because we can connect
Yeah.
you guys. There's a lot going on, which is really exciting.
Yes, build a little Canadian Tatreez empire together.
Absolutely. I wonder if she knows it as that. At some point, we should have like the Tatreez Talk alumni need to like get connected.
I love it. I love it. Okay, that's the next phase.
We'll work on it. We'll work on it.
Hmm.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Tatreez Talk. We want to hear about your Tatreez journeys, so please, please, please share them with us at tatreeztalk@gmail.com, and we would just might have you on an upcoming episode. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite listening platform, and be sure to leave a 5-star review. You can follow me at Lena Stob, Amani at Menamani, and of course, follow the pod at Tatreez Talk. We will talk to you soon.